is the playground for Krishna. And how Krishna playing with in Vrindavan? With his very, very dear and close friends or associates, or we generally call it as or name it as devotees of the Lord. So Krishna, why Krishna moving from Gokul to Vrindavan? Everything has a meaning. Everything has a reason for Krishna's pastime. It's not that just it's all happened just like that. No, in anything that which is in relationship with the Krishna has a very significant meaning. So Krishna is the Supreme Lord, Supreme Personality of Godhead. So his pastimes are also very wonderful. So what we are going to hear today is that Krishna is moving to Vrindavan, and from there, that how Krishna's wonderful pastimes and the demons in Vrindavan. So that's the introduction, and let's get into the beautiful, beautiful, beautiful pastimes of Krishna. Dear devotees, just by putting our mind, putting our hearts, putting our body and the words for Krishna is the perfection of our life, nothing else. We may be doing so many things. You may be extreme rich in this world. You may be extreme beautiful. You may be extremely knowledgeable. You may be extremely, strong. You may be extremely, extremely famous in this world. But there is no use for any of these things if Krishna is not in our life. So this is exactly the meaning of Vrindavan. To bring Krishna, and Krishna will come to that heart of Vrindavan. Heart of Vrindavan. Okay, this is just wanted to keep that in our mind always. So let's all together have the invocation prayers. So I would recite. Om Namo Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskrityam
Narayanam Namaskrutyam
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Naram Cheva Narottamam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Tadho Jayamudhiraye
Tato Jayamudiraet
Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu
Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu
Nityam Bhagavada Sevaya
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Bhagavati Uttama Sloke
Bhagavati Uttam Sloke
Bhaktir Bhavati Daishtikim.
Bhakti Bhavati Naistikam.
So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. This is the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam based on. And then we are going through the wonderful pastimes of Krishna. So we know that Janmashtami, the appearance day of the Supreme Lord, is on August 26th. And then next week is, next Monday is the Balaram Purnima, Balaram Jayanti. So Balaram appears first, and then Krishna appears next. But in Leela, in the pastimes of the Supreme Lord, they are together. So Balaram makes all the arrangement for all these wonderful pastimes. So Vrindavan is Balaram in one sense. All the paraphernalia, all the spiritual realm, all this, whatever is in use for Krishna is Balaram. So we should be always remember that. So that's why Balaram represents Adi Guru. So Balaram gives that opportunity to serve Krishna. Without Balaram, we cannot attain the Krishna. Or without Guru, we cannot attain Krishna. So this signifies. So it's very, very important to understand this principle, this tattva. Many times we hear all this, but sometimes we miss that the underlying principle, underlying meaning of all this when it comes to when Krishna exhibits his pastimes. Every movement of Krishna is meaningful. So devotees need to understand. Devotees should be very keen to understand all this. Devotees should be very keen to hear the beautiful and wonderful pastimes of Krishna. So it exhibits the love for Krishna. So without much further ado, so let's get into the verse. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salagaya Chakshurunmilidam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimade Lokanath Swami Dinamine Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimade Bhakti Vedanta Swami Dinamine Namaste Saraswata Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatare. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So let's get into the how Krishna killing the demons Vatsasura and Bakasura, these two demons. So this happens after Krishna delivered Nalagriva and Nalakuvera and Manigriva. So in the paragraph it says, and this is the order which Srila Prabhupada translated from the Srimad Bhagavatam to Krishna book, and this is in the same order that what comes into the Srimad Bhagavatam. When the twin Arjuna trees fell to the ground, making a sound like the falling of thunderbolts, all the inhabitants of Gokula, including Nanda Maharaja, immediately came to the spot. They were very much astonished to see how the two great trees had suddenly fallen. Because they could find no reason for their falling down, they were puzzled. When they saw child Krishna bound up to the wooden mortar by the ropes of Mother Yashoda, they thought that it must have been caused by some demon. Otherwise, how was it possible? At the same time, they were very much perturbed because such uncommon incidents were always happening to the child Krishna. While the cowherd men were thus contemplating the small children who were playing there, informed the men that the trees had fallen because Krishna had pulled the wooden mortar with the ropes binding him. Krishna came in between the two trees, they explained, and the wooden mortar was topsy-turvy and stuck in between the trees, turvied. Krishna pulled the rope and the trees fell down. When the trees fell down, two very dazzling men came out of the trees and they said something to Krishna. So this was the cowherd men, the boys of Krishna, the friends of Krishna. When Krishna pulled the mortar in between these two trees, this was Emma Arjun trees, was standing there for many thousand years. Krishna saw these are not ordinary trees. These are actually Nalakuvera and Manigriva, two sons of the Gandharva king. So the Yaksha. And then we know that the story that was on the Friday, it was explained so nicely that by the curse of Narada Muni. Actually, it was not a curse, it was a blessing. Otherwise, even if you are there for billions of years, you are engaged in all these material activities, and then you won't be able to come closer to Krishna, come closer to the devotees. So it's very, very important, dear devotees, even little bit of association of devotee can transform our life. So we know that in the case of Nalakuvera and Manigriva, they were intoxicated. They were completely devoid of their original consciousness. They don't know what they were doing. They were naked. They were playing with the girls and the heavenly, the being in the water. And then they completely forgot themselves. See that the mercy of a devotee. So when Narada Muni came and this Nalakuvera, this sons of Kuvera, they were completely intoxicated. They completely forgot what they were doing. And then Narada Muni comes, then all these girls, they were astonished. They were also even spotting with these sons of Kuvera in the water. And as soon as they saw Narada Muni, they covered themselves. But because of that, they are intoxicated by the Varuni, the two sons of Kuvera, Nalakuvera and Manigriva. They ignored, they offended Narada Dev. So Narada Dev was a pure devotee of the Lord. So pure devotee always sees the wrong in it, but not that they do not hate the person, but they do hate the sins that they commit. So it's very important, right? The important that they always hate the sin, not the sinner. So similarly, Narada Muni can understand that. So what they were going, why they are behaving like this. So Narada Muni then told them, cursed them that because you are completely forgotten about your identity, your constitutional position, then you are behaving like a dumb people, dumb person. So be like a dumb, like a tree. So be it. So Narada Dev was just cursing like this. Now, when they heard this curse and they are going to become the trees, they came to their original consciousness. See, sometimes it says that in the scripture, sometimes when there is a simple words, people will not understand or they will not come to their consciousness. Sometimes people in this world, they have to meet with something or some, fall back in their life. Some fall down into their life. So then they come to their original consciousness. Sometimes it is severe. Then they come to their original consciousness. That's why, dear devotees, we have this karma. Karma has good reaction and the bad reaction depends on their activities. The karma, they get that punished so that they could regain their original consciousness. All the punishments are for to come back to their original consciousness, not that it's just because of the hatred they are punishing. All the laws and the punishment to correct themselves. So similarly, Narada Dev wanted to correct themselves, the sons of Kuvera. So Narada Dev just cursed, you're acting like a dumb, be like a dumb, and then you understand. So when they heard this, when they came to their original consciousness, they begged for forgiveness from Narada Dev. Please save us. You are the devotee of the Lord. You could only save us. So then Narada Dev mentioned to them, yes, be there like a tree, but in Dwapara Yuga, one of the 20th millennium of Dwapara Yuga, Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, will come and then will deliver you. Will deliver you. So, dear devotees, it's a great lesson for all of us. So, one of the reasons Krishna's appearance into this world is that to fulfill the words and the desires of his devotee. So, this was mentioned a millennium ago. This incident happened, Krishna, Narada Dev cursing Nalakuber and Manigriva happened a millennium ago. So then it was, Krishna didn't have a plan that. But devotee can understand. Devotee said that. Devotee desired that Krishna would come. And they were Trikala Jnanis. They know the future, they know the past, and they know the present. This is the symptom of a devotee. They would not get into any of these material things, but they are completely spiritual. They can understand what is happening in this world and the beyond in the spiritual world. So Narada could understand Krishna would come. Not only that, Krishna came because of Narada Dev said that he should deliver Nalakuvera and Manigira. So all these wonderful Damodara pastimes, Mother Yashoda binding Krishna for many reasons. So one of the reasons is that Krishna wanted to deliver Nalakuvera and Manigriva. So this was happened. So for many thousand years, these trees were standing there. Krishna saw that they were there. It was Nalakuvera and Manigriva. Krishna just pulled the mortar in between these two trees and stuck the mortar, and Krishna pulled the mortar, and these two trees came down, fall down with a huge noise. Immediately from that two trees, there are two personalities, great personalities came out. Krishna, they were dazzling. They were heavenly being. They had crown and helmet, and that they were, as soon as they saw Krishna and they remembered the supreme personality of Godhead will come and deliver you, they understood who is this. The devotees, think about that. The many yogis, thousands of other yogis, they were standing and doing the tapas for thousands of years, even more than the years of millions of years that the Nalakuvera was standing there. They were not even able to come closer to that the Supreme Lord like this. But this is happened why? Anybody knows the reason? Why Krishna, they had an opportunity to closely come face to face and with the Krishna. Anybody knows the reason for that? Anybody knows the reason for that? You can unmute. Hare Krishna. At least you can say you know the answer.
What is the question, Prabhuji?
See, even the thousands of yogis, they meditate, they do the penances for millions of years, millions of lifetimes, but they don't get closer to Krishna like this. Nalakuvera and Manigriva, they were so close and they could see the Krishna, they could come. And even some people, they do this tapas for more than the years that Nalakuvera and Manigriva stood there for, but still they don't get it. Why Nalakuvera and Manigriva got this special opportunity that they are very close to Krishna, and Krishna personally come and to take, deliver them. Why?
Well, because Narad Muni cursed because of their wrong activities. So it's like Guru's mercy first thing, and they got then they said they regretted, and then Narad Muni said, "Okay, you will become
No, no,
priest."
simple word. I mean, the reason. I mean, why they got that opportunity. I mean, it's not that okay, Narada Muni cursed and all, but what we can understand from this.
So because they were in front of Krishna, Sakar Roop was in front of them. So that's why they got more special mercy.
Good. It's a mercy. Yes, that's what is I wanted to hear that. So when the devotee's mercy is there, when the Guru's mercy is there, devotee's mercy is there, then it is very easy. One can even see Krishna very face to face if the devotees and the Guru's mercy is there. Otherwise, it's so difficult. It's a long way. But here, on the other hand, when there is Gurus and the mercy is there, the devotee's mercy is there, then Krishna is right, and that Krishna will come right in front of us. So always remember this. Try to seek the mercy of the devotees and the Guru and the spiritual master. So now what happens? When I went to India, I was in my hometown and I was in my home. So every day I read Srimad Bhagavatam. Usually what happens when you take the Srimad Bhagavatam in your hand, you meditate upon the Lord, and what happens, whatever the page comes, and that's where you start, and it represents that, it signifies so many things. So then automatically it comes to you what page you wanted to read. Okay, so it's considered as the mercy of Krishna. Okay, so you take it Srimad Bhagavatam in your hand, you meditate on the Supreme Lord, you completely, then the page will open up for you, right? So this I used to do for many years. So I was opened up the Srimad Bhagavatam, and this was exactly the page I got. Okay, the deliverance of Nalakuvera and Manigriva. So I was reading and I was going through. And this was actually so beautiful. It is mentioned that in the detailed, the descriptions of the Nalakuvera and Manigriva with the devotees, from the devotees' mouth. And I was going through and reading this. They fall flat at the lotus feet of the Krishna. They were circumambulating Krishna. And they were praying to Krishna. And this was this word struck me so much. They were praying to Krishna that, oh, Supreme Personality of God, we are so fortunate that we can see you face to face. And then whatever, they were completely intoxicated. They were in completely a different delusion and engaged in so many things. Now they transformed completely. And they're praying to Krishna, oh Krishna, whatever I see, that please make that you that we can see. Whatever I hear, oh Krishna, that makes that is your glories. Whatever the karma I do, Krishna, that please make it as the karma of Krishna karma, that whatever the service it may convert and transform this as the service to you. Whatever I remember that, oh Krishna, please make it that is you, I meditate upon you. Whatever I eat, Krishna, that I only eat that which is offered to you, the prasada. Wherever I go, Krishna, please make me to go to your service, your temple, and please make me that use my legs for your service. Oh Krishna, please make my hands for the service of you, to make something to do for you. Oh Krishna, please give me that anything, that nothing, that please never allow us to forget you, Krishna. They were singing these beautiful glories and at the face of Krishna. And Krishna was so pleased, and Krishna looked at them, smiled at them. Think about it. Krishna looked at them and smiled at them. And they were so be it. Krishna said, so be it. And you know what happened? The Nalakubera and Manigriva attained the supreme abode of Krishna. And where it's come from? The mercy of Narada Dev, mercy of devotee. So, dear devotees, that's what is the first and foremost thing that we need to do, that to seek the mercy of the devotees and the spiritual master and the guru. So this was when these all trees came down, and then the friends were there. They started to speak to the elders. This is what has happened. They didn't believe in the beginning, and then they started to speak, and some believed, and that's where in the second paragraph mentioned. Most of the cowherd men did not believe the statement of the children. They could not believe that such things were not at all possible. Some of the men, however, believed them and told Nanda Maharaj, your child is different from all other children. He just might have done it. Nanda Maharaj smiled to hear about the extraordinary abilities of his son. He came forward and untied the knot just to free his wonderful child. After being freed by Nanda Maharaj, Krishna was taken onto the laps of the elder gopis. They took him away to the courtyard of the house and began to clap, praising his wonderful activities. Krishna danced along with their clapping, just like an ordinary child. The Supreme Lord Krishna, being completely controlled by the gopis, sang and danced just like the puppet in their hands. So, dear devotees, what we can understand from this. So, some believe, some doesn't have that belief. Say here that we can see that some cowherd men understood that this is not an ordinary child. But on the other hand, the gopis, so many that wonderful devotees, Krishna like a puppet in their hand. So, devotees, that's the point we need to be noted. The one of the benefits of devotional service to attract Krishna is called Sri Krishna Akarshani. So Krishna is attracted only by the devotional service, only by the bhakti. Even in any way that you just call out this way, that way, charity, you go here, that. No, it is not. By bhakti, the loving devotional service, only that Krishna can be attracted, dear devotees. So these gopis were such a love for Krishna, even though they may scold Krishna, they would do anything. They would do everything for Krishna. They're sometimes angry with Krishna. They may say so many things to Krishna, but in the core of their heart, this is the Krishna they love the most. My Guru Maharaj was hearing that. Even though Krishna goes to the homes of gopis and they Krishna steals everything. Krishna steals sometimes everything. But still, every day the gopis get up early in the morning, they churn the milk, they keep the butter for Krishna. And this is what is their thought. Krishna would come and Krishna would eat my butter, my life, my happiness, life will be successful. So this is the thoughts of the gopis. Even though they may keep high in summer, but if the one day if Krishna didn't come, they will have such a disappointment in their heart. So, dear devotees, this is that relationship, this is the bondage, the sambandha one has to create with Krishna. Every moment that we should feel that we are with Krishna. Okay? So, it is mentioned that further, sometimes Mother Yashoda used to ask Krishna to bring her a wooden plank for sitting. See that? Who is Krishna? Is the Supreme Lord. Although the wooden plank was too heavy to be carried by a child, still somehow or other Krishna would bring it to his mother. Sometimes his father, while worshipping Narayana, would ask him to bring his wooden slippers. What Krishna would do? With great difficulty, would put the slippers on his head and bring them to his father. When he was asked to lift some heavy article and was unable to lift it, he would simply move his arms. In this way, daily at every moment, he was the reservoir of all pleasure of his parents. The Lord was exhibiting such childish dealing with the inhabitants of Vrindavana because he wanted to show the great philosophers and sages searching after the absolute truth, how the supreme absolute truth personality of Godhead is controlled by and subjected to the desires of his pure devotees. So this is the point, dear devotees. This so nicely explains Sukadeva Goswami to Parishit Maharaj in the Bhagavatam, and similarly Srila Prabhupada took that and explaining it here how Krishna would completely surrender to his devotees. So, dear devotees, I'm asking a question that do you remember any other pastimes that Krishna is completely surrendered to his devotees? Any pastimes? We heard many. Just wanted to cheer up. Anybody remembers? Please say. Krishna would completely surrender to his devotees. Anybody? Hare Krishna. Please go ahead. Open up. Don't you remember anything? Any pastimes? So many out there. Hare Krishna. Are you able to hear me? Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Don't you remember any pastimes that Krishna is completely surrendered to his devotees? Don't you remember? Anybody?
Kuchela.
Kuchela, yes. Sudama. Krishna completely surrendered to his devotees. When Kuchela, Sudama Vipra, Sudama Brahmana came, and he was completely absorbed in the thoughts of Krishna, and Krishna understood all this. He's Andaryami. As soon as Sudama, the Brahmana came, Krishna came running to receive Sudama. What Krishna did? Krishna made Sudama to sit his own throne, and then taking his feet, and this was walking all the way to Dwaraka. What Krishna did? Krishna washed his feet. He is the Lord of the world, the Supreme Lord. And there were 16,108 tunes were there. We're all looking at Krishna, what Krishna is doing. Wash the feet of Sudama and drink that water and sprinkle on him and sprinkle on all of them. And made him to sit on his own bed, embracing Sudama. And then finally, then Krishna wanted to have, and Krishna knew that Sudama was brought something. It was a chipped rice. That chipped rice, tied up in a small old cloth. Krishna saw that. Krishna just grabbed from Sudama. And then what happened? Krishna took the first, handful of the chipped rice. Krishna ate. Krishna ate the second time also. Krishna ate that. And then Krishna was about to take the third one. Mother Rukmini just caught hold of Krishna. You know what would have happened? The first and the second bite of the chipped rice, Krishna would completely surrender to Sudama and sold himself to Sudama. Now, if Krishna would have taken the third one, then Mother Rukmini would have been the personal maid servant of the wife of Sudama. And Mother Rukmini didn't want to lose Krishna. And Mother Rukmini caught hold of the hand of Krishna. So, dear devotees, this is Krishna, the Supreme Lord. Always remember, by the loving devotion, one can attract Krishna. We know that the other pastimes, how Arjuna, Krishna completely surrendered to Arjuna. Krishna became the charioteer of Arjuna. Krishna became the charioteer of Arjuna, and the battlefield, Arjuna was using his leg to, touch Krishna. Here, on the other hand, on the gopis, Krishna would become the puppet in their hand. This is the way that Krishna reciprocates with his devotees. Always remember this. So then, other wonderful pastimes. One day, the fruit vendor came before house of Nanda Maharaj. You know that the beautiful pastimes of the fruit vendor. And then the fruit vendor was just an old lady going around. And then, she was going around the Nanda Bhavan. And all this day, nobody bought anything from the fruit vendor selling these fruits. And then fruit vendor came and going around and thinking that somebody would come from the Nanda Bhavan. And then Krishna heard this. And this was a devotee who was always remembering the Lord, Supreme Lord. And this devotee was also the intention to see Krishna. Even though she was selling the fruit, and she heard about this beautiful boy of Krishna and wanted to see Krishna, and that desire was there. So these were all sincere desire, dear devotees, and whoever is in Vrindavan, not an ordinary soul. This fruit vendor came, and Krishna heard that the desires and the call of selling fruits. So Krishna came to this fruit vendor. Krishna was very small. And then Krishna understood that this is a seller, fruit seller. She has to get something from. In return, that those days, that time barter, there is no exchange of money, but rather you give something and you get something. So Krishna ran to the house, and with his both little palm, little handful, he got some grains, and he does not know. He didn't know that, even though he knew. I mean, he's a Supreme Lord, but he was holding it. But it's from the little while the Krishna reached the fruit seller, it was all kind of dropped from his hands. Nothing left, maybe a few grains left in the hands of Krishna. Krishna showed this to the fruit seller with that innocent charm. Here the money that you wanted. Give me the fruits. This fruit seller wanted. What can I give? But seeing that the smile and the beauty of Krishna, she completely forgotten. She gave all the fruits, and Krishna put the grains in the basket, and she started to give all the fruits in the hands of Krishna. Krishna was looking at the fruits, and the fruits vendor lady saw that Krishna's hands are full, but Krishna is still looking at the basket. That means there are more fruits. Give me more fruits. So our Acharya has mentioned that this is Krishna. Krishna would never satisfy that the love Krishna gets from the devotees. Krishna would ask for more and more and more. So one should completely prepare for it. He would need everything from us. He would take everything from us with that heart, body, everything that Krishna wanted to take from us. So then fruit seller was wondering, and she was putting more and more fruits, and Krishna was holding this. And finally, the basket would become empty, and that became empty. Then she just covered it, and she was, even though she got some few grains, she had that content, that satisfaction, that happiness she carried. And she was walking with that, the remembrance and the thoughts of Krishna. And then what happened? The fruit vendor reached their home and wondering, what would I do? I didn't get much today. But she went their home and she just uncovered her basket. She couldn't even believe that the entire basket full of emerald, ruby, and jewels and diamonds, necklaces, and so many things that the millions of lifetime that's good enough to, live on. She was so wonderful and she was so blessed just by that exchange of love that she had, how Krishna is reciprocating. So, dear devotees, this was mentioning, and this was also happened. This, and then after that, the elders of the Gokul, they came and they were discussing this after the Arjun trees were fall down. They were just wondering what happened and what is happening with the Krishna. So when Krishna was very small, the Pudana came, and then somehow or other they were discussing like this. Nanda and the younger brother of Nanda Maharaj is called Upananda, and there were so many elders were there, and they were discussing like this. Why this is happening to Pudana came, and then there is Pranavatra came, and Krishna was taken into the air by the big hurricane, and there are so many disturbances there in Gokul, and we should do something. And they were discussing, maybe this because of we were living here in this Gokul, and then Kamsas, there all the demons are there, and they may attack so fast. So we will move to Vrindavan. So this is where they decided that everybody should go to Vrindavan. So they all sat into the cart and they were going one by one. The men were taken the bows and arrows, Mother Yashoda, and all sat on one cart with Krishna, and they were enjoying this caravan, this ride. So they came to the place in the day, it became evening. They came and that's where they put everything, all their cart put in the half circle shape and put there, and they were happily and stayed there. And that is the place called today called Chattigara. So when you turn from the Madura, come to the Madura, the Delhi highway, you make a turn to the Vrindavan. That's where that place is called Chattigara. Chattigara means all this cart. Cart is tied together there in a circular shape and half circle shape, and that's where the place is called Chattigara. All these places are there if you go to Vrindavan. So then they came to Vrindavan, the devotees. So then Krishna was now, getting older, and then Krishna was now ready to, herd the cows. And then after that, Krishna, started to herd the cows. That we know that the wonderful pastimes of that's called Gopashtami. The day of Gopashtami is Krishna get, the cows to, herd from his parents. So one day, what happens? Krishna and Balaram were herding the calves. So Krishna was small, almost that we can say that 5 years old. And now Krishna and Balram were herding the cows, and now all these wonderful gopas and the friends, they were all together. So that time, the one little calf, Krishna saw that is little different, is unusual. So Krishna looked at this calf, and Krishna saw that this calf is none other than a demon, who is a close associate of Krishna. Sorry, Kamsa. So then Krishna understood this is a demon in the disguise of a calf. So Krishna loves calves very much. Krishna loves, all the cows, and they know, and they comes whenever Krishna just play the flute, they would all come and listen to Krishna's flute. Krishna knows Nanda Baba had 900,000 cows and the calves, and each one of them had names for it. Each one of them had names. Krishna would call this cow individually. Padma likes that. Tenchini, and so many other names for each cow. And Krishna knew each cow's name. Krishna would call each cow's name, they would come to Krishna, to lick Krishna and the calf. Krishna would carry the calf with him. Always, Krishna likes to carry the calf in his hands. We saw many pictures like that, Krishna carrying the calves. So calves are very dear to Krishna. And Krishna was playing with this calf. That's where Krishna is so unusual. And in the form of a calf, there's a demon disguised. Krishna just caught hold of the legs and the tail and throw into the air. These calves went into the top of a tree and fall down from that tree and fall down and dead. And then demon got his original nature. And Krishna then punched, and this demon is just died right there. And so Acharyas mentioned that. See, so we are in Vrindavan, dear devotees. When a devotee is in surrender to Krishna, the devotees engages in the loving devotional service to Krishna. He is in Vrindavan. He is in Vrindavan, and that Krishna personally interact with such devotees. They would engage, they would prepare for bhoga for Krishna, they would serve, they would take, bathe Krishna. They would do all wonderful services, dress Krishna, make sure that Krishna eaten nicely. So this is called Vrindavan. Vrindavan is nothing but that where the devotees are there, where Krishna is there. The Dham of Vrindavanam, right? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that. The Dham of Vrindavanam, where the devotees serves Krishna, that's Vrindavanam. So when Krishna and the devotees, that's Vrindavan, and in that Vrindavan, sometimes what happens for the devotees, there are so many anarthas comes in the path of devotion. So what would happen when these anarthas in the form of a demon? Here, the demon is actually came in the form of a calf, like a cow, the baby of a cow. So similarly, the anarthas comes like a childish mentality of a devotee. So Radhanath Maharaj mentioned that this is the childish mentality of a devotee, comes like that. So when there is a childish mentality, they are careless. The childs are usually careless. When they are careless, childish mentality, this all comes that can drag away our devotion, our bhakti. So in order to avoid that, Krishna would always, whoever is actually in relationship in bhakti of Krishna, Krishna would never allow such things to come to a devotee. So devotee should be careful that the calves, the Vatsasura. Vatsa means the calf. Vatsasura should not enter into our heart or in Vrindavan, in the devotion. So it's very, very important that we should be careful and not to be like a childish mentality and careless in devotion, and we should be very serious in devotion. That's where, dear devotees, Krishna wanted from us our sincere dedication and determination to serve Krishna. So Vatsasura represents our childish activities and then our, carelessness in loving devotional service. So when Krishna sees this one, when we are sincere to Krishna, Krishna would take away that. That's why one surrenders to Krishna, then Krishna would take care of that devotee. So similarly, after all this, and then also these pastimes are happened, then Bakasura was the brother of Putana. And then when Putana was killed, Bakasura becomes so furious, and Kamsa's friend, he was looking for an opportunity to kill the Krishna. So one day when the Krishna was playing with his friends in the forest of Vrindavan, so this demon disguised in the form of a big crane, big beak, and so big mouth. And then this crane was looking an opportunity to attack Krishna. So this crane came, immediately opened the mouth and swallowed Krishna. Swallowed Krishna. But Krishna is, very powerful, strong, and everything comes from him. Even the heat comes from him. So Krishna then started to, his body started to produce this immense heat. So this crane is opened the mouth and swallowed, but they couldn't sustain it there. The crane is actually omitted this Krishna back. And what Krishna did? Krishna just caught hold of the two sides of the beak and just, ripped it apart. The demon died. This demon was none other than called Bakasura, the brother of Putana. So here it is also Acharyas mentioned that when the demon comes like this in the Vrindavan, what is Vrindavan? Vrindavan is nothing but the wonderful pastimes of Krishna with his devotees. When the devotee is in the service of Krishna, that's Vrindavan, the arena of service, the devotion to the Supreme Lord, that is Vrindavan. So here Bakasura represents the the unwanted desires to occur in the life of a devotee in the form of material opulences, the form of greed, the form of that selfish, self-centric ego that I can do everything. And then taking the advantage of the opposite sex. These are all represented by Bakasura. So Bakasura was hatred to Krishna. So Acharyas mentioned that there are anarthas like this, the self-centeredness or selfishness or that false ego when it comes to its, in top, in the peak. So then it will become like a crane that attack Krishna. So dear devotees, like that, when this anarthas comes to our life, we forget everything. Now what we do? Now he started to attack Krishna. That's what we can see in this world. He said, who is God? Who is Krishna? Who is an ordinary man? There is no God. I can do anything I want. So these are all that self-centric false ego which develops by one can develop and come to the stage of like a crane like that. And they start to attack Krishna. They swallow Krishna. So similarly, they completely forgot everything. That means they swallow this material nature or material propensities in their life. So then what would happen when Krishna comes? Krishna would take away all those and kill those demons and deliver us. So it's very important that your devotees, Krishna and his devotees are always well-wishers for the devotees, the human being. They're well-wishers. But what our anarthas are actually making us away from, keeping us away from Krishna. Our anarthas, all these demons comes and somewhere left and right attack Krishna. So that we can see in this world, when we have so much of arrogance, when we have so much of jealousy and the greed and the lust and the anger, this is nothing but we are attacking Krishna. Because of we are seeing that I am this Lord, I can do anything I want. Who is this God? Who is this Lord? So with our attitude, these are called demoniac nature. We are left and right attacking Krishna. We think that we are doing right. So when the Krishna, when one takes the shelter of Krishna, surrenders to Krishna, then what would Krishna would do? Krishna would slowly kill all these demons from our heart, from our Vrindavan in the path of devotion. So it's very, very important that the devotees, Krishna's wonderful pastimes, that one should hear and understand this principle, this tattva, so that we develop more and more love for Krishna. So this is the way that Krishna then also killed the Bakasura. So Bakasura, represents the false ego and then self-centric activities and taking advantage of anything that which comes in spiritual life. So even though we have this disguise in this form of I am that, I am this, we may put nice dress and tilak and all, but our inner self is actually looking for all this material enjoyment. So that Krishna kills that. That's where represents the Bakasura. Krishna killed the Bakasura. That means eradicating all this unwanted anarthas that which we have in our heart. So, dear devotees, is so wonderful to hear this pastimes and understand this the tattva, the principles behind all these pastimes. Why Krishna is doing this. So all we need, dear devotees, that take shelter of Krishna, then everything else is guaranteed. So usually we say that, okay, make our life great again, right? When we come to Krishna consciousness, what would happen? Make our life great again. Otherwise, we are completely in illusion. We don't know what we are doing, but we are completely in illusion. That means we are completely in a forgotten stage. It's like this Manlakubera and Manigriva, completely in a forgotten state. That is called the dumb life that one can get. That's what is that the tree, the life of a tree. The tree is completely kind of, you know, the tree, they stay there for thousands of years. It's like a lump because their consciousness is very much covered. But when we act like a dumb person, that will also happen. Our consciousness will be covered like in a tree. So that should not happen. So we have this human form of life to understand, to realize the importance of that who we are, and to establish a relationship with Krishna. Then Krishna would take care of each and every one of us, we are devotees, and this way our life will be so wonderful and perfect. So with this note, I would end here. So these pastimes of wonderful pastimes of Krishna killing Vatsasura and Bakasura. So thank you so much for joining today. Indra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So I would humbly request anything anybody would like to add, any realization that you have, anything that you wanted to share, or if you have any questions that we can open up, we can have some discussions. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Are you all there?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Yeah.
You had mentioned that oftentimes for someone to come to Krishna consciousness, they have to reach a low point in their life in order to, stimulate them to look deeper or look elsewhere for answers. And I could say that for myself, that was also the case. Is there actually a term for that low point that one reaches, or I'm assuming it's different for everybody, but
You mean the term means, is there any Sanskrit specific word for that, or
yeah,
what exactly?
that's a good synopsis.
Yeah, I mean, there is nothing like that. There is, the understanding that we should be like a person, those who are so much rich. So what happens because of that richness, they forget Krishna. They completely intoxicated, they completely involved in so many material activities and all those things, right? So they completely kind of lose their all these things. So then such people, so Krishna would make sure that they come to that stage, they can realize that their mistake. So there is no specific way, okay, that okay, I should be go so low in order to understand. This all depends, varies to each, how each devotees or how each person's approaching Krishna. We know that in the case of Pundarik Vidyanidhi, was very rich. Servants were always there serving. But as soon as Pundarik Vidyanidhi hears the name of Krishna, he completely become intoxicated with the Krishna's name, and he dances completely. So there is nothing that we can just say that, oh, this is it, that we have to go very low in everything. that in order to attain Krishna. No, it depends that what is our understanding, where we stand with it. If anything, that which is embodiment in Krishna consciousness, that we should avoid, and anything that which we can be utilized in the service of Krishna, that should be utilized. That's called Yukta Vairagya. Whatever is favorable for Krishna, we should use it, and whatever is unfavorable for Krishna, we should reject it. So, in terms of like, we say like the poor in the Sanskrit is there is a word that called Daridra, right? Daridra or Daridriya, Daridra is very poor in terms of. So, one should be poor in the sense that one should be rich in, if one, but somebody has a devotion, he is the richest person, because of there is nothing that we can compare the rich of the bhakti that one can have. Nothing is there in this world that we can compare with. One has the bhakti and the devotion in his heart. Okay, so yeah, that's one word, like we can say that in the Sanskrit is very poor. That's that, but that we cannot even compare. Like Daridra Narayan, sometimes say Daridra Narayan, right? Is considered as Daridra is also Narayan. Everybody is part of Narayan. And yeah, I don't, there is nothing that, Prabhuji, that we can say that one should come to that level of, then only he can become a devotee. No, everybody, even birds can devotee, animals can become devotee, even everybody can become devotees of Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for wonderfully, nicely realizing things. Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Guruji. Dandavat pranam. Om Guru Srila Prabhupada.
So, Prabhuji raised a very, very valid point. The fact that definitely, and I can relate that also with my experiences. So, there are times when you are so down in your life, and it's a moment of distress, and Ashim Dukh, which they say in Bhagavad Gita chapter 7 verse 16, right? Chaturvida bhajante mam.
Deva jana sugurdana archana artha arthatmi jinsasa jnanina pradarshana. Yeah.
So it clearly says, right, who's distressed, the inquisitive, who's very wants to know about me and who desires a material gain.
Yeah.
And Jnani, who wants
they would approach Krishna.
So yeah. So distress is, you're right. I mean, we could take that as an arrangement of Krishna. Again, never feel bad about it, that we hit a low point in our lives and things were really bad.
Come to the distress, very much distress condition.
Yeah. So
yeah, artho. That's the word is used as artho. Artho means incapable. I mean, helpless person, right? You need a helpless person. Or in the word we call it as also another word called dainya, helpless, dainya, right? So that's humility is another word that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says this word also, Trinada, be tolerant than a blade of grass, humble than blade of grass, tolerant than a tree, and always give the respect and never expect any respect in return. Such a person can chant the holy names. That means Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is bringing that one should be very, by knowledge, by virtue of knowledge, that one should understand all this. So he is materially maybe, so-called that we call it as maybe poor, or he is a dainya, he is humble, and he is such a condition that, but internally he is the great personality. And like Sudama, he was so poor. Sudama is considered as Kuchela, the word which is used in the Sanskrit called Kuchel. Kuchela means he is such a poor condition that nothing that he has. Kuchela means nothing, that he is the poorest of the poor. But he had that wealth in his heart, the devotion to the Lord. So then wife had a desire to have something nice house and things like that. That's why Kujela's wife insisted, the Sudama, to go and meet your friend. He's a king. He's an emperor. He would give something so that we would be, we would be overcome our poverty. So hesitatingly, this Sudama went to see Krishna. So, when what is the results outcome? Just by that, Krishna fulfilled that desires, and they will become so opulent, and they got like a big mansion, big places, and thousands of maid servants. And the Sudama's wife becomes so beautiful, and there are thousands of maid servants serving Sudama's wife. And when Sudama came back, and he couldn't believe just by little that I have. So when we have that such kinds of, whether we have or not, whether we are poor or rich, all we need is that we have to keep up that our devotion in our heart, and then Krishna would take care of the rest. So that's what is we need. So as is mentioned that artho means a distressed, arthas the one who is desire for the wealth, jnani one who is an inquisitiveness, and artha jnyasu those who are inquisitiveness, and jnani that one who's really understand Krishna, they would come to Krishna. So it doesn't mean that only that four people will come. No, devotees are always there. And by the mercy of the Lord, one can come to Krishna. By the mercy of devotees, one can come to Krishna. So this was Krishna was generally speaking to Arjuna, that these people, four kinds of people will come to Krishna. That is true. When one is in the distress condition, they start to pray to Krishna. So this way, and this way that they eradicate all. You know that in the Brahma Vimohana Leela, Brahma was praying to Krishna. Brahma prayed, because of my ahangar, not pride, that I am the great Brahma, that I took the steps to steal your cows and the calves. So please remove my arrogance and false ego. Make me a position that I can uh, always remember you, serve you. Please make me that condition. So it is mentioned that when the Haridas Thakur manifested, Haridas Thakur was actually the Brahma that who wanted to have such a condition. Like Haridas Thakur was in such a condition, he was not even interested in anything. Always, always, always remembering the Lord and chanting the holy name of Krishna. This was none other than Brahma. And so like this. So Krishna, if we have that sincere devotion for Krishna, then everything else is, that like, doesn't care that, I have this rich, I have that rich, or I'm poor, I'm this. But those sannyasis, sages, mendicants, they don't have it. They only have the clothes, but they are the greatest personalities. They have such a love for Krishna in their heart. They are the richest devotees. So Krishna is so rich. Whoever is in relationship with the Krishna is also rich. Rich in what? It's in Krishna. That's what is we need to keep and need to have. Is that clear, Prabhuji? I just wanted to clarify.
Yes, Prabhuji. Very clear. I mean, we can see the relationship. Like Prabhuji was talking. I mean, this happens, and the point is we should take it in a longer term.
Yeah.
And then you realize that this was for your benefit. When it happened, It's a very humbling experience. You wonder why this is happening to you, but when you're out of it,
It is the mercy of Krishna that if you are able to remember Krishna, if you're able to chant Krishna, if you're able to do the service to Krishna, then we are the greatest fortunate person. And that's the mercy of Krishna that we came to that stage that we can remember and chant. So that's what it is. Life is not guaranteed. Whatever we have, it's just temporary. Whatever the wealth we accumulate, that will separate us upon some point of time. So leave that we have, that's Krishna. So when we have that devotion for Krishna, always remember that that's our greatest fortune, that the mercy of Krishna. We don't have, some way or other, we don't have that opportunity to serve Krishna and devotees. Remember that we don't have the mercy of Krishna. It's very clear,
Thank you, Prabhuji.
right? Okay. Jai. Thank you.
Yeah.
Anything else? Anybody else? I see few other devotees. I saw some few devotees joined here first. I see Renu Riddhi Mataji. Is that Anuradha Mataji sent me the number and I added in the WhatsApp group. Are you the person, Mataji? Renu Riddhi.
Yeah. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, I'm from North Jersey. Yes.
North Jersey. Okay. You attended first time?
Yeah, I joined first time. Yes.
First time. Okay. Yeah, I got your. I added you in the group. So please join.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Hare
You're
Krishna.
welcome. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna.
Prabhuji.
I saw another Vasant Sud. Is that Vasanta Mataji? Vasant Prabhu? Okay. Where is Neeru Mataji? Madhu Mataji left early. Is Simona Mataji? Hare Krishna. See Sudagar Prabhu? Okay. Mike is still working. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank
And
you. Thank you,
all
Prabhuji.
worship Srila
Pranam,
Prabhu.
pranam. Yeah. Prabhuji, yeah, I just want to reflect on this. So, times, constantly remembering Krishna, with so much Maya and all these things happening.
Yes.
In a way, it's easy to forget
Hey,
Krishna. I mean, with Maya is so powerful.
so powerful.
No,
Yes.
with so much of so many lifetimes, and right, we completely forgot Krishna, and I think that's where we need to be constantly reminded,
Yep.
so that we don't deviate, and at least it's
Yeah.
all the struggle. So
Yep.
we should never lose hope that's right. So
Of
we
course.
should stick to the path.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah. That's what it is. So that's why it's make it easy that if you follow, that's called Ragatmika, right? Ragatmika Bhakti, that we follow the footsteps of the devotees of the Lord. So it makes this very easy for us. We have Raganuga Bhakti. So Raganuga Bhakti developed from the sadhana. We follow the footsteps of the devotees, the words of the devotees, and the instructions of the devotees. That's why Krishna is manifesting in so many ways. Like we have Chaitya Gurus and Diksha Gurus and Shiksha Gurus and other, Pradarshaka Guru. There's so many ways. So it becomes easy that if you follow and stick with it. Like just for an example, if you want somebody to take initiation, just make it easy that process. That means taking a vow, engaging the service, and free from all the intoxications, eating meat and things like that, and free from the coffee and tea and onion, garlic, and all the illicit activities, all these things. So what it makes that? So this way that we are always in service of Krishna. So this should be our prayer, like the praise of Nalakuver and Manigiri, that whatever we do, O Krishna, please make it as a service for you. Whatever we remember Krishna, please make that as a remembrance of you, Krishna. Whatever we see, Krishna, please make it as your form, Krishna. Whatever we eat, Krishna, all that, make it as your prasadam, Krishna. So we have to have that. We have to have that. So ultimately, dear devotees, we are the summum bonum of that his potency, whether it is material or spiritual. Nothing moves, nothing works. Always you have to remember that. We are the summum bonum of that potency. We always always relishing that is mercy. We should always, have that in our consciousness. So this way we can be always remember Krishna. So like we see something good, that's Krishna's opulence. I say the opulence of the absolute, the trees, the banyan trees we see, the hills we see. Krishna says, I am the mountains, I am the Himalayas. So then we among the mountains, that means that the mountain is also we can see Krishna. Water, I am the taste of the water. I am the sun and the moon. I am the ocean, the pole, I am the ocean. So, everything that we can see that as a Krishna. Even a wind blows, when it comes to and touch our, skin, we can feel that the presence of, that is also Krishna's potency. So this way, everything is actually part of Krishna. Then we should always have that. Okay. Okay. So thank you so much. So always we should try that, see that Krishna in everything, and we should have always connect. That's called yoga, means to connect Krishna in some way or other. And be what is called content and cool, not to indulge in so many unwanted things and keep ourselves disciplined. That's the meaning of disciple, discipline, and engage in the service of Krishna. This way, whatever the way we can, so that then we pray to Krishna. And we pray to Srimati Radharani, please engage me in your service. So this way that we can, come out slowly from the clutches of this Maya. Okay. Is that okay, Prabhuji?
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Yeah. Okay. Anybody else has anything to add? Any other comments? Okay. Nothing else. Thank you so much, dear devotees, for joining today. Let's conclude. Let's pray together. Vancha kalpatarubhasya kripa sindhubhyeva cha paridanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Vaishnavanta ki jai.
Jai.
Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada jai. Ananda Gaudi Vaishnava. Gaura Premanande Hari Hari.
Hari 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 Hari. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Krishna. Hare Krishna.